On this edition of SciTech Now, see teachers in Central New York slip into spacesuits to help their students learn.
We could create and develop a program for teachers to reignite that passion and get the resources to them and be able to bring them together from around the world, take that back to the classroom and be able to have innovative ways to teach their students.
Then we dig a little deeper into the science behind urban farming.
We're making a great soil, we're growing great produce, we're incorporating things like tilapia fish that you can't necessarily get anywhere in the Cleveland area.
And we show you how to read faster, a whole lot faster.
80% of the time you spend moving your eye. And so the idea is to get you to focus on one place, relax, and just let the words stream into your brain.
Coming up next on SciTech Now.
SciTech Now is made possible through the support of our members.
Mohawk Valley Community College. Your future starts here, offering education and workforce development ranging from hands-on to high-tech, including nano, manufacturing, electrical engineering, and more. More information at mvcc.edu.
And by Giotto Enterprises, whose companies include Fiber Instrument Sales, The Light Connection, Molding Solutions, and Firmer Precision, providing solutions for fiber optic, telecom, molding, and CNC machining industries. More information at giottoenterprises.com.
Hello, I'm Simon Perez, and welcome to SciTech Now, our weekly program bringing you the latest breakthroughs in science, technology, and innovation here in Central New York and across the country. We begin with 3 local middle school teachers who traveled to Alabama to participate in the Honeywell Space Academy program. During our conversation, we learned about the rigorous science and space training at the program and how that can help students get an out-of-this-world classroom experience. Welcome, everybody. We've got our participants of the Honeywell Educators at Space Academy program here. We wanted to start off by introducing them. First of all, we've got Sarah Pecklick, who teaches at Liverpool Middle School. We've got Becky Loy, a teacher at Manoa Elementary School. Miley McGarry teaches at East Syracuse Elementary School, and Carrie Kennedy, who's Director of Corporate Citizenship Initiatives at Honeywell, which is behind this Educators at Space Academy program. So welcome to all of you. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're all excited about hearing about what you did. So I guess first of all, Sarah, why don't you tell us about what it was like to go down to Huntsville and what was the most shocking or surprising thing that you did while you were down there?
First of all, it was interesting. As soon as my journey started right here in the Syracuse airport, I already started meeting people in the program. I met Molly right away, and we just kind of had an instant connection and chatted the whole way down. When you get down there, I teach middle school, which is 7th and 8th graders, and you always kind of feel a little bit of concern for the 7th graders. There had been 6th graders and had really been the top of their school, and now they're in a new building. And I definitely felt like I was in their shoes and was in a new environment with a lot of people I didn't know, choosing who you're going to sit with at lunch or who's going to sit with you on the bus. But very quickly you start to build a bond with these people and you become friends, and that was really an important piece of it, was getting to know these people and getting to know them very well and feel very comfortable working with them and sharing stories and ideas, and that was really a key piece.
That's great. Becky, we were talking earlier, part of that connection that you had with some of the other teachers who were there extends well beyond Central New York and even the United States. What have you been able to do after having been down there 2009 originally to expand your reach beyond the borders of the United States as far as science goes with other teachers?
Well, I started, of course, with local colleagues, but then after Space Academy, it really changed how I meet people, what I do, and I now have friends around the world. Some of my closest friends are in Arizona and Canada, but I also have communication with people from Romania, Australia, and just different areas of the world, and it's so easy to communicate. We communicate on social media, and we share ideas, and when we have a new opportunity, we share that. It's just this great learning community, and what the girls here will realize is it moves beyond just your little group that you first met. You know, you guys are just at the beginning of your adventure, and they're going to start expanding and meeting new people as they go along through Honeywell and through all these connections. And it just gets bigger and it goes beyond, and there are hundreds of people that I communicate with sharing ideas, and it's just incredible.
How does that make you a better teacher?
I think it's sharing the ideas, getting new lessons, new ideas that you want to bring back to your classroom or your activities that you're doing. I think the biggest part for me is the inspiration that I get from others that I then share with my community at ESM and also around the Syracuse community. And just feeling great about what you're doing.
Great. Molly, can you tell us about one project that you did down in Huntsville that really influenced you and that you want to bring back to the classroom?
Yes. We worked on one project that was really interesting. It simulated the shield on the side, a thermal shield. Mm-hmm. And we had to construct, using materials, a shield that would protect an egg after a blowtorch was directly facing it for 5 full minutes. Mm-hmm. And we had to purchase the materials, and we purchased them with points. And it was a very fast-paced lesson, and cooperative groups, and everyone contributed their ideas. And because there's so many teachers coming from different grade levels, all of us had different input and different experiences. So it was really exciting to see. We all stood around and watched everyone's shield go through the test. Mm-hmm. And it was very exciting, and I felt it was very applicable to the classroom.
So that's something that you could take back, this idea of here's your stuff, see if you can make it work.
Minus the torch.
Okay.
We'd have to adapt it a little bit.
All right, that's great. Well, Carrie, I know that Honeywell is a big proponent of STEM education, science and math. Why invest all this in science and math?
Well, Honeywell Educators at Space Academy and U.S. Space and Rocket Center over 10 years ago went and looked at the programs that were out there and realized that if we could create and develop a program for teachers to reignite that passion and get the resources to them and be able to bring them together from around the world and be able to take that back to the classroom and be able to have innovative ways to teach their students, that was a quick win for us to be able to reach many, many more children around the world, students. Mm-hmm. So for us, obviously you hear from them, and we've met our goal. We have 2,400 teachers that have participated in the program. We've reached more than 2 million students around the world, and it continues to grow. And we're so excited because these are just 3 of the most amazing teachers that we have, and an incredible network that they can draw from and continue to build on.
That's great. Becky, you started something at your school based on your experience. Tell us about it, and how has it changed the students?
One of the things, I came back with a lot of great ideas, but one of the catalysts that I use to get those ideas across is a Space and Rocket Club that I host at Minoa Elementary. And it started small, and one thing I love is I had some girls come to me saying, can I join? And of course I can, or of course you can. And I love that being a woman leading these groups, these STEM-based groups, that kids feel comfortable in joining. But one thing I notice in the building is when I'm doing something through the club and I put my Honeywell blue flight suit on, and the excitement starts to grow, and you guys will see that too. And the kids are like, "Oh, Mrs. Lloyd's doing something really exciting. She's got her blue flight suit on." One of the best things about my Space and Rocket Club is I bring in NASA moon rocks, and of course I've got my Honeywell blue flight suit on. Anytime I can, I put that on. Bring the moon rocks into the classroom through the club, and the kids get so excited. There's this one boy, William, who was very shy and quiet, was going through a really hard time at home, but he had the most amazing questions. And I later on went to his teacher and I said, who is that boy with the great questions? And he told me about him, and I went to him the next day and I said, you need to join my Space and Rocket Club. This is an area for you. And William then started to blossom and started to follow the sciences and really get excited about what he was doing in school as well as the stuff I was doing. He then went on and joined some of my other clubs. His mom got involved, and it really changed his life. And for me, that's the big thing, is changing kids' lives. Mm-hmm. However you find your way of doing it, and you inspire these kids to make things better for them. And that, in turn, will inspire families, and they get excited about everything. And all from that Honeywell blue flight suit and my Space and Rocket Club. So
amazing what the attire can do. That's
yes.
Sarah, is there anything about trying to get after younger kids, elementary and middle school students, and get them motivated about science and math then as opposed to later?
I think the generation that are in middle school and upper elementary are the ones that are going to be the generation that does explore Mars and beyond. NASA already has, flybys of Pluto coming up and other deep space adventures, and I think they're the ones that are going to be leading that charge. So to get them interested now, we heard from astronaut Don Thomas, who, he wanted to be an astronaut at a young age, and he knew he was going to have to make himself stand out. So right away he started, he was a B or C student and he started working hard. And it took it extra effort, but he was willing to do that. And his perseverance, just having that dream in mind. So I think if we can spark some sort of dream like that for this generation, that those are going to be the ones that go places we couldn't even imagine.
Oh, that's great. Molly, is there anything particular that you feel really inspired about after this that will make you a better teacher? Is there one thing, gosh, this is what I really want to do when I get back to the classroom?
Yes. At ESM, we've been really doing a lot more engineering design projects. And this experience has really helped me come up with a lot of new ideas to apply the engineering design process more in the classrooms. I happen to be I'm a math science inquiry support teacher, so I get to see all the classrooms. So I'm really excited about being able to bring some of my ideas all throughout the school, because I'm in and out of all the classrooms all day. So that's really exciting for me to bring some of these ideas and sort of branch out with other teachers, and I think it's a great opportunity for me.
Wonderful. Well, that's great. Well, thank you to all of you. That's great. It's good to see everybody motivated, and we'll keep going, right? Year after year after year. Well, that's great. Well, thank you to all of you, and congratulations. And I guess congratulations to the students too, because those are the ones who are going to benefit from the most from all the stuff that you guys have learned about. Over the past 10 years, more than 2,000 teachers from 55 countries have trained at Honeywell's Space Academy program. Urban communities across the country have fought against hunger and blight for decades. Urban farming can solve both problems at once by planting crops in abandoned lots and using the harvests to help the needy. Here's how Cleveland did it.
On the east side of Cleveland, on a site that was once an illegal dump, longtime friends Damian Forsch, Randall McShepard, and Kima Durton, the co-founders of Ridall Green Partnership, are growing tilapia, a popular mild whitefish.
Damian Forche and Kima Durton and I go way back. We all grew up together. This farm project kind of brought us all back together because we all saw where we could add value and give something back. The beauty of the Ridall Urban Farm is that it makes good business sense and it makes good community sense.
Farming was not something they imagined doing until one day opportunity came knocking when Will Allen, a pioneer in something called aquaponics, came to town, and they were hooked.
Aquaponics is an ecosystem that works hand in hand. The fish works with the plants and the plants work with the fish.
We have pumps that pump water up to an upper level in the fish tank where there's fresh plants actually growing, and then we have water pumping down from those plants, so it becomes this interdependent cycle that allows for the fish waste to be pumped up, and it fertilizes the plants up top. And then the plants themselves provide nutrients that go back into the water to fortify or provide nutrients for the fish.
Growing fish and vegetables is a way for Ridall to diversify the business.
We knew that we had to come up with many different vehicles to generate income. We couldn't just rely on growing produce and think that that would be enough to create jobs, maintain jobs. We had to come up with other ways of taking fresh food to market. We're making a great soil, we're growing great produce, we're incorporating things like tilapia fish that you can't necessarily get anywhere in the Cleveland area.
Ridall raises fish from fingerlings. As they grow bigger, they're moved from tank to tank, so they won't eat the smaller ones.
Generally, by 8 to 10 months, most of them have reached full adulthood. So that's been quite exciting to see. We've, since inception, we've probably grown about 8,000 tilapia fish. I think right now we have about 5,000 in supply.
We feed them a natural food pellet that's like fish meal and things like that, but most important, I put omega-3 in their system by feeding them duckweed, which is a plant food that we grow here. They eat lettuce, they eat like arugula, different green foods. So we feed them leafy foods and we feed them a natural food pellet that they is eating, which is fish meal and other ground up fish product foods.
Plans are on the table to expand Riddle, creating more jobs, more healthy food options, and growing their outreach program.
Our big dream has been to build a new, what we call a 21st century greenhouse directly across the street from our farm. We have now gathered the land, assembled the land in partnership with the city and the Burtonville Car Development Corporation. We'd like to build a 6,000 to 8,000 square foot 21st century greenhouse, we like to call it, which is a greenhouse that will be comprised of classroom space to allow us to do a lot more of the education programs and training programs. We would have a farmer's market space where people can actually come and buy produce and fish and not have to chase people around the farm to find someone to make the transaction. We think that there is a number of ways to elongate or sustain an urban farm if you look at all the pivotal points that come with the farming business. So not only how do you grow it and sell it, but might there be ways to package it? Might there be ways to freeze it for later sale or later use? Might there be ways to partner with food distributors and people that prepare food for institutions to sort of have an ongoing working model where food is always being grown and always being processed and always being spun back out to communities and to institutions, and that's where you really create the sustainability and create the lasting jobs.
In the 4 years since Damien, Randy, and Kima cleared the land and planted the seeds for their first aquaponic fish farm in Cleveland, they're proud to see their dream blossom into reality. Most satisfying of all is the opportunity these three friends have to spend time together again.
It's been really wonderful when you work with people that you grew up with and know from the old neighborhood, because you know there's no issue of trust. There's no lack of confidence. I know if they say they're going to do something, it's going to happen. I don't have to second guess or question. And many of us have been in environments where we wish we could say that, right? So that really has been the beauty. And we all share a real passion for seeing Cleveland do better and giving back and making our neighborhoods better and giving people second chances and all those kinds of things, which we know the farm will help us to do.
And this is the greatest thing on earth for me, really, to be back with them two, the people that I learned from and grew up with from kids. It's like it was all worth it. The journey and where we at right now, it was all worth it, because I get to be with them and bug them every day.
If you're interested in starting an urban garden here in Syracuse, contact Syracuse Grows. Their contact information is on our website. In today's busy world, we're all trying to do things faster. Think about how it would change your day if you could read the newspaper in 3 minutes. SciTech Now's Hari Srinivasan tells us there's a technology out of Boston that's trying to help you do just that.
Imagine if you could read an entire novel in an hour or a news article in just a minute. There's a technology out of Boston, Massachusetts that's trying to help you do just that. It's called Spritz. I'm joined now by the CEO and co-founder, Frank Waldman. Thanks for being with us.
It's great to be here.
What is Spritz?
Well, Spritz is a technology that helps you read material faster and also in small spaces. So you're reading on the go, you're on the subway. It's a way to consume information.
How do you get someone to read faster without sort of teaching them to speed read?
The secret of our technology is that your eye doesn't have to move. A lot of time spent reading is moving your eye from word to word across the line. And when your brain is moving your eye, that's what it's doing. It's not comprehending what you're reading or anything. So if we take that movement away and we position the word where you can recognize each word without moving your eye, then you can read fast.
But we've grown up learning how to read left to right, or in some cultures right to left, right? I mean, how much time are we really talking about wasting? How much is that efficiency or inefficiency present in how we read today?
Well, it's about 80% of the time you spend moving your eye. And so the idea is to get you to focus on one place, relax, and just let the words stream into your brain.
Okay.
And it's amazing that some people can read 4 to 5 times faster.
All right, so let's see how it works.
Well, I have for a basic demo an email application that we developed for the Samsung Galaxy phone.
Right.
And it looks just like normal email, except when I click on it, it's going to show me the email in its entirety. And I can read as much of it as I want. If I want to go to another email, I just tap the next one. This is 300 words a minute, which is only slightly faster than the introductory speed that we would start you at. And you'll find that you can read emails at like 500 words a minute.
Okay, so besides the phone, are there other applications for it?
Well, when we developed this app for the phone, we were actually developing the email app for the watch. So
Okay.
this is the Samsung smartwatch, the Gear 2.
Right.
And we developed the same email app for the watch. And here you can see I have one new email on my watch.
Right.
And normally what would happen is as soon as it arrives, it would shake my wrist. I
Okay.
would look down at it and say, is that an email that I want to read? If so, I would just tap it, and here is it playing. Same display, just scaled to the watch.
And that's it. So
That's the
basically,
same-
now there's just one word that's moving on the watch instead of me having to try to scroll up or down.
Exactly. And if I want to, I could just tap that email, view it or reply. I'll hit reply. And then it pulls up that email on my phone.
Great,
So
and it's
now I
already
can
ready
reply
for your
to it.
type. And this works on iPads or computers as well?
Sure. So this is an example of reading on a larger screen.
And you could slide the speed.
That's right. You can increase your speed and read it really fast.
I'm trying to figure out the ways that I've learned how to read have taught me comprehension by going back and forth, by jumping, saying, oh, I didn't really get this paragraph, maybe I need to reread it.
Right.
That seems like that would be harder if I'm just getting one word at a time.
It would be, but just let me show you. In the case of this particular app that we made, you have the ability to go back a sentence or go back a paragraph. So if you need to reread it, you can just back up.
You're really talking about changing a behavior that people have associated with navigating life. When you're a child, you learn how to read, you're reading left to right, you're reinforced for that behavior over time.
Right.
People say, hey, you're a great reader, you have great comprehension, and here's a technology solution that kind of upends that entire model.
Yeah, it's very disruptive in that way. But, you know, we have young people reading this way all the way up to my 87-year-old aunt. So it's applicable across all generations.
What about the ability to retain information long term? Is there a risk that reading it this way, I might not remember what it is as well as if I had read it on pages and I'm almost making visual maps and visual guidelines?
There are ways to improve comprehension reading conventionally as well. So the same techniques that you use for reading that way, you'll find you'll do them this way also. But we've tested a lot of people, over 1,000 people, and we find that the comprehension is comparable.
Where do you see Spritz being used most?
Well, now we're focused on mobile because so much digital content is going mobile, and that's where we want to be. We want to be where people are changing their behavior anyway.
What's to keep you in the lead here?
Well, it's not as simple as it looks. There is some intellectual property that we've spent several years developing. We have quite a few patents pending, and we think we're the first ones to do it. Luckily, here in the US, we can protect that.
And are some of the fundamentals of speed reading behind this? I mean, this idea of sort of chunking pieces of text?
No, actually, there's nothing about speed reading in this. So speed reading is to widen your peripheral vision so that you can absorb an entire line of text.
And this is the opposite, really.
This is the opposite, that's right.
So this is the opposite of speed reading, but it's helping you read faster.
That's right, and without training. So, you know, we're not trying to quadruple everybody's reading speed. We think that, in fact, the only way to really consume information on a small screen is to read it a word at a time. And so, we're focused on those cases where putting information into a small space is really the way to do it. But if people like to speed read or like to read multiple words at a time, stay with that technique.
All right, Frank Waldman from Spritz, thanks so much.
Thank you.
If you want to try the app yourself, go to our webpage. We've got a link where you can test your reading speed. That's it for this edition of SciTech Now. For more information on science, technology, and innovation, visit our website at wcny.org/SciTechNow. And you can join the conversation on Facebook and Twitter. Next week on SciTech Now, down by the creek. It's where Central New York students are getting the feel for Syracuse's urban waterway.
They're out there actually collecting and observing data and observations about the creek. And they start to understand it. And they start to realize that they've been places and done things that their teachers haven't. And it gives them a new feeling of ownership.
Then learn about a potential source of energy so powerful you can't see it. And go deep inside a botanical garden that has millions of species of plants, and they're all dead. I'm Simon Perez. We'll see you next week on SciTech Now.
SciTech Now is made possible through the support of our members.
Mohawk Valley Community College. Your future starts here, offering education and workforce development ranging from hands-on to high-tech, including nano, manufacturing, electrical engineering, and more. More information at mvcc.edu.
And by Giotto Enterprises, whose companies include Fiber Instrument Sales, The Light Connection, Molding Solutions, and Firmer Precision, providing solutions for fiber optic, telecom, molding, and CNC machining industries. More information at giottoenterprises.com.